Shawna and Jody here with Real Sisters, Real Talk.
We're glad to have you joining us as we talk about growing in our faith with God.
Hey, welcome to Real Sisters, Real Talk. I'm Shawna here with my sister Jody and with you, and we love this time with you. We are not experts in anything, but we're on the journey and we're so in love with Jesus. We are so in love with God's word and believe with all of our hearts that it is completely relevant to the lives that we live today in 2025. And there's so much wisdom that we can gain. But we are right here in the middle of kind of a switch in seasons. We're kind of like things are changing. I don't know about in Southern California, but I can tell you in West Michigan, the nights are cooler, the mornings are cooler. I know this because I have a brand new puppy and I am outside a lot these days. And I'm like, oh, I need a coat. I need a sweater. I don't want to wear my flip-flops out there. You know what I mean? It's getting chilly at night. But also yesterday where was I going? Oh, I was on my way to Bible study. It was like 4:30ish. Yeah, because Bible study is at 5 o'clock at night. I got stopped behind 2 school buses.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's that time of the year. Here we are, Jodes.
Yep. It's that transition of getting used to the different traffic and all of that. You know, funny thing, I mean, the weather wise, we've had such a mild summer this year that now we've kind of hit the 90s during the day. I mean, it still gets to 70 or
Oh my goodness.
69 or something in the morning, but yeah, so we are not feeling the cool yet,
Okay.
but it will come.
Just FYI, when I say it's getting cool at night, I'm talking like 56, 57.
Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning, it's just a little bit chilly.
A little bit chilly. Yeah, that would be that'd be a jacket for me. Coat.
Jody is in Southern California. Shawna is in West Michigan. So I'm
Totally
currently
different.
wearing a sweatshirt today.
I see that where we're going to be in the 80s, but that's okay. It's all good.
Okay,
So
you'll be out by the pool, and
yes, we did
I'm
literally
waiting
swim.
for the leaves to fall.
Yeah. So yeah, this kind of in between season, I even feel it in ministry right now because we're prepping to launch. So we're doing all the things to launch. This is a really busy season in ministry. And so it's all that preparation part. And part of it, like you just want to get to launch the ministries. Like, let's just get going. Let's get into routine. But also there's like this, laying of the groundwork that needs to be done in preparation for the launch and communication and all of that kind of stuff that has to take place. But it is easy for me to think, let's just get to launch day. Let's just get there. But this piece is super important, right? The season of prepping and doing our leaders meetings and, communication so that people know what we're doing and where we're meeting and what we do. This ministry that one of the main ministries that we're launching, Women of the Word, used to be called Women's Walk, but the church has done it for so many years. We've adapted it. Now we have it like 3 different offerings and that kind of thing, but we've done it for so many years. And there are so many people in our church who will say, what is that? And you think we've done it forever, but so communication is such a huge, important piece.
Yes.
But yeah. So this season matters.
Yeah. And I love the intentionality that you guys have, right? I mean, the meetings, the communication, this is really what we want to lean into. This is how we want to encounter God in this next season and what we're hoping to see happen in hearts. You know what I mean? There's a lot of intentionality behind it. And I think a lot of times in the in-between, I think even 2 Jodes of like kids going off to college right now, or lots of babies are starting kindergarten for the first time. And I say babies because they do look like little babies when they look like babies when they head off to college. I actually remember when we brought our first to college, she went out of state and we had all of her possessions in the car. The older kids were staying home. Somebody was staying here with them and we went just with her. But I remember we were probably, it's like a 3-hour drive and we were like an hour and a half down the road. And I'm thinking, this is so far. She's so, so, so far from home. And I turned around to look at her. And in one brief moment, she's in the middle seat of our Suburban with all of her possessions in the very back. I turned around and I looked at her, and for just a moment, she looked like she was about 4. And I started to tear up, and I was like, how in the world am I supposed to leave this child out of my care, in no one's care, in a dormitory. Like, it just seemed insane to me, and I didn't want her to know I was crying, so I turned around really quick, and I opened up my Bible, and I started to do my devotions, and my devotion on that day, it was the Jesus Calling devotion, and it was literally the very first words I read that day were, "You can entrust your loved ones to me." And I was like, "Oh my good." I mean, talk about just exactly what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. But these transitions of moving into, the baby starting kindergarten or kids going off to school or even just all the hullabaloo of fall, right? And the chaos of the activity and all of that. We are in we're in between, but we're standing just at the edge of a new season.
Yeah. One of the things as you were sharing that, one of the things I was thinking, and I've said this to young moms often, when I remember when our kids were young, and I remember like, I don't know, even when they were like, say when Ty was 3 and thinking, I only have 2 more years and he starts kindergarten.
Mm.
And this is so scary. It's so scary, the thought of him going to kindergarten. When he was going to go from the elementary school to the middle school, it was like, I don't like this. I don't, going into high school. Oh my goodness, he's going to be a freshman amongst these like grown people. And same
Yes.
thing with college. Like, how is he going to, adapt to this college and going off to Germany? Like,
Mhm.
there's all these stages. And the same thing with Lauren. And what I learned over time was to stay so present in the moment we were in, because if I spend all my time
Hmm.
worrying about what's coming, I miss the sweetness of today, right? And so I want to
Yeah,
stay in
that's
today.
huge.
The other thing I just want to say to any young parents out there is that I truly found that when I was walking and trusting God and praying for my kids, not in a worry prayer, but like trusting God with my family, I was always ready for the next step when we got there. So,
Mm.
was I ready for my kids to start kindergarten when they were 3? No. But
Mhm.
when they were 5, was I ready? Yeah. It doesn't mean it was easy, but you
Right.
could also see in them the readiness and that it was
Yes.
time. And same thing with college and with all of those things. And each one of those things are hard, but I think I would just say to people, do not waste your energy
Mm.
and time missing today because you're worrying about the future.
That's such a good word. And that's actually where we really want to lean into the conversation today is there are times when we feel like we are in between seasons. Maybe it feels like the moment that you're in right now is an absolute waste of time. Like I don't know, maybe you're single and you long to be married. And it feels like life starts when you start a family, when there's somebody else. Or, you're married and you long to have children. And it feels like you are in a season of waiting, but these days are not wasted days. And I love what you said, Jody, about just how when we worry about the future, we get robbed of the right here, right now. And God is present in this moment. He's going to be there in the future. He's been in the past. But the only place that you can actually experience him is in the right here, right now, just his presence right here, right now. But he is preparing you. And we've got example after example after example of people in scripture who, by looking at their circumstances, it looked like wasted time from the outside. But God was doing stuff. God was preparing them all along for incredible things in the next season.
Right. And so it's often we can't see that. I mean, see that. And sometimes, honestly, I think even looking back, it's sometimes hard for us to see. I mean,
Hmm.
you look at Abraham's story, and he was given a promise, and he really did not see that promise fulfilled. We're studying Exodus right now with our women's Bible study, and so I'm prepping to teach a couple of lessons coming in the next couple of weeks, and um, and I love the life of Moses, anyways. But I just love learning from him. But we see Exodus starts out with that the Joseph's family, Jacob's family traveled to Egypt, and then it became a multitude that actually the new Pharaoh was fearful of them because they became so large and so powerful in the land of Egypt. Abraham didn't see that.
Hmm. Yeah. I love how the stories intertwine, right? Because you're talking about Jacob, Joseph's father,
Mhm.
right? Jacob, who
Yep.
Joseph's story too was one of like, you would think when he was in, he was given a dream. He was given a dream that, he was going to have incredible influence. And as a cocky teenager, that sounded pretty cool to him to be somebody who could have that much power. But God had a plan to use the influence that he would give him to save a nation. So, but it didn't go from cocky teenager to saving the nation at 22, right? Like he had a long journey. I think it was like a 13-year journey, and he was in prison in there. He was
A
sold as a
slave.
slave. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't seem like, it feels like a huge detour or like a derailment, or are we ever even going to get to God's plan, or are my dreams for naught? And
Mhm.
sometimes we find ourselves in days where it feels like, gosh dang, I did not think it was ever going to look like this.
Yeah. Well, and so like taking Joseph's story, like you picture him standing in his colorful robe, being dad's favorite, having that dream and what
Yeah.
he thought that meant, right? And so then he's sold into slavery and he's put into prison for something he didn't do. We don't know. The Bible doesn't tell us exactly how he responded to each of those things in a like minute by minute way, but we
Right.
do see character. We do see a man who lived for God, who was risen up in each of those scenarios because of the way that he lived for God. We do know that when Potiphar's wife came at him, he fled, right? Like
Yep.
these are things that we know. So we know that he lived in a way of integrity. So I think that
Hmm.
like the heart of the question here is, how do we live in the waiting?
Hmm.
How are you doing it? Right?
Yeah. Right. Is it happening with integrity? Is it, because I think about Joseph's
Mhm.
story too, and I think what an opportunity to just kind of feel like, I don't know, when I'm most likely to fall into temptation is probably when I feel like I am exhausted, and you know what? I deserve this, which is pride. It's entitlement. Let's just be honest about what it is. But that's what it looks like when it surfaces. There's rarely a day that I wake up in the morning and I go, I'm pretty amazing. I'm going to have
Mhm.
whatever I want today. I don't care what it costs. I don't care who it hurts. I mean, like nobody does that.
Right.
But but it sneaks up on us, and I think for
Mhm.
Joseph, there he was, so not where he wanted to be, exhausted, I'm sure, by his circumstances. He could have easily thought, you know what? I deserve a little something, something, and I didn't go seeking this out. She's throwing herself at me. Like he could have tried to justify it, but he walked with such integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, and so in those moments, I wonder if part of it is, how do we, like in those moments you gave some real life scenarios. If you're single and your desire is to be married and you really envision life starting when you
Mm,
meet that
right.
person and you get married. The truth is you are in this place today. So I know I go to this book often, but Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby,
It's so good
one
though.
of it's so good. But God is up to things today. So God, will you show me what you're up to
Mm,
today around me? And would you give me the courage to step into that? I want to make a difference today. I want to live for you today because today matters.
hmm.
There's even times I think when we're waiting, like it can be even seasonal, like, we're kind of starting into the fall here. I love the holiday season. If you know me at all, I love the holiday season. I love, like, I will honestly, Labor Day, I decorate my house for fall. And the day after
Okay.
Thanksgiving, I decorate my house for Christmas. And I am all about like just the experiencing all of it. The
Hmm.
pumpkin coffee, the, yeah, it's all of, I just love it all. So I can spend like maybe the late August, early September, just so anticipating the holidays that I don't enjoy, or I'm not paying attention to what God is up to around me today, or I'm not even willing to learn what God is teaching me today. And because I'm so anticipating what's coming in the future. So yeah, so if you are in one of those scenarios where you're single and waiting for something to come, ask the Lord today, like, what do you have for me today? Um, and I want to do this. Like, Lord, what do you have for me today? What do you want to show me today? Honestly, like this season, I just told you, like getting ready to launch ministry, my to-do list is very long, task to-do list, right?
Yeah.
And so I can get very focused on even that, anticipating what's coming instead of being present with God today.
Mm.
If you know, God, if you can just wait, because I've got some things to do today that are super
Can,
important.
okay, so this is a little bit of a nuance to what we're talking about. So
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to go there. But I think, we talk about like seasons being wasted or time being wasted. And Jodes, you're talking about presence. It's just so important to be present. I have been convicted lately about how many moments are robbed, like the precious present, the right here, right now moment gets robbed because I have a dull moment and I pull up my phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're distracted. We are very, very distracted people. And I think, why on earth is the enemy so completely committed to keeping you distracted or to making you feel like today doesn't matter? It's gotta be that when you are paying attention, when your head is up and you're experiencing God and seeing the moments that you get to have with Him that He's teed up, right? When you're aware of how significant you are and how significant this day is, and our eyes are fixed on Him, incredible. Oh, I got to tell you a story. Just heard this yesterday, but my friend was at an out-of-state wedding, and she, her son was officiating the wedding. But after the wedding, the guests this is kind of a destination thing. So guests are like staying together in the same hotel area, whatever, resort, I don't know. But anyway, they're all together and she's having this conversation with someone who I don't think was actually at the wedding, but was just happened to be on the premises. And she said that her son had officiated the wedding. And this person said, like, sat up immediately, like, stopped, interrupted the conversation and said, "Would he baptize me? I want to be baptized so bad." And they end up having a conversation of faith, because my friend wants to make sure, like, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Do you know that you are a sinner, that it's only by what Jesus did for you on the cross that you can be saved? And He's made a way for you to be in right relationship with God. Like, they had the conversation, all the things, and the gal's just like in tears. And she's like, "Yes," she said, I just want to be baptized so bad. And so with their clothes on at the venue, they hopped in the pool and this gal got baptized. She went back to her room and her daughter was in the room and she told her daughter what had happened. And the daughter just started crying. And she was like, "I want to be baptized." So they ended up baptizing 4 people in the pool that night. And it's like, today matters. I mean, I don't know what you've got planned, but God is doing things in the hearts of people and He lets us be a part of it. Like, we get to be in those moments with Him. We get to be the hands and the feet if we're paying attention.
Right. If we're paying attention. So one of the things we talk about a lot at church and like our leadership development is we need to keep our head up. Like, keep your head up. Don't be so about the tasks at hand, but have your eyes up. See people. People want to be seen. And when we actually see people, things like that can happen, right? We see a need and we get to actually be a part of what God's doing and what He's up to. How exciting to be a
I know
part of that.
This is not wasted time. This season you're sitting in right now is not throwaway. It's not a throwaway day. It's not a throwaway time. It's not a throwaway season. And life is not on the other side of you getting the thing that you're in waiting for. I've spent a lot of time feeling like the carrot was dangling at the end of the stick. And just about the time that I'd go to grab hold of the carrot, it was like a whole new stick, a whole new carrot, and just start all over again. I remember feeling that way, like when the kids sleep through the night. Oh, I just can't wait until the kids sleep through the night, Oh, when they're out of diapers. Oh, when we don't have nap times anymore. Oh, when we're free from car seats. Like you can just keep, you know what I mean? You can do
Yep.
that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so tempting to actually live that way and not live in today. But there's beautiful things happening today, even if it's a season of in between. There are beautiful things happening today, and we want to pay attention to how God is at work and what He's teaching us for today and how we can be present. I mean, even if it's a matter of looking at how can I bless someone today?
Mm-hmm.
A word of encouragement, meeting a need. I don't know, just whatever it is that you feel like God is leading you in, step into that, lean into that today, and
Yeah.
ask the Lord to show you what it is.
Mom and Dad did such a great job of sharing with us that we had like a divine purpose, like God had
Hmm.
something exciting for us. And I remember as a little, just like anticipating that, like, oh, God's got a plan for my life and being very excited about that message. But how my little brain interpreted it was, oh, there was going to be a moment where the light was going to shine, like the heavens were going to part and the light was going to
Right?
shine on me, y'all. And it was going to be amazing, and the angels were going to sing. And like, I really did. And I was like, what is that moment? What is that thing? And I don't know how far along I was in life. I was probably in my 20s when I feel like God said, today is that day. And like
Yeah.
tomorrow is that day. And then the day after that is that day. And so I've gotten into this practice now of kind of waking up in the morning with a little bit of anticipation. Like, I don't know what you have for me today, but I don't want to miss it. And then I've talked about the Lectio 365
Hmm.
app, which I absolutely love, but it kind of walks you through this prayer time at the end of the day. It's the last thing I do. And one of the questions is, where did you see God's hand in your life today? And I used to do this with my kids when I had the privilege of tucking them in when they were that little. I would say, where did you see God today in your day? Where did you experience Him? Um, so that they didn't translate that to mean that it was a moment, some point in their life, you know what I mean? But that every day there are moments where God uses us in incredible ways.
We definitely want to encourage you. Shauna and I both want to intentionally live intentionally for the
Mm-hmm.
Lord today, no matter what today is, no matter what we're waiting on or what we've just come out of, today matters just as much as either of those things. And so we want to encourage you to live in a way that um, every moment has
Mm-hmm.
purpose. Um, every moment we're looking to see where God is at work, and we are wanting so much to live for Him and be a part of what He's up to. So as you go out this week, oh, do you want to say more thing?
Just one more thing. I think that
Yeah.
one of the messages, I don't know if message is the right word, but uh, when we are keeping our eyes focused on God today and we're living fully for today, even in the waiting, I'm not saying that the longing isn't there. I'm not saying pretend that you aren't in a season of waiting, but when we are living fully for today, looking for His hand today and His instructions for today, it's like we're saying, I trust your timing. Like, not only do I trust you, God, but I trust your timing in this thing. So I know that today is not a wasted day. I'm going to keep my eyes focused on you. There was a missionary friend of ours who's in Africa. Her name is Annalie, and she shared with me once this example of like a police dog, a trainer with their police dog, and these dogs they never take their eye off of their master, right? They are watching his every move and anticipating, like even before he makes the command, they're already halfway in the position, because they're so eager to please and to be obedient. It's just such a beautiful image of how we get to live our lives every single day. Like, I am not waiting for someday. My eyes are fixed on you. I want to be obedient to what you're saying. I'm going to respond right now to what you're calling me to. And I think it's, yeah, I do. I think it's one of the ways that we say, not only I trust you, but I trust you with your timing, even on the thing I'm
Yeah.
longing for.
Right. And that's a beautiful way to live. That is a way of walking in peace in whatever it is that we're facing today. And we also recognize that in some situations is very hard. And yet it is always a gift when we can
Mm.
stay present with the Lord. I mean, a couple of other examples from the scripture, like you look at the Israelites in the 40 years in the desert, and man, right?
40
That's
years.
40 years. We're not talking about 40 minutes. 40
Right.
years. That is a season of waiting. Do we think that 40 years was a waste? Or do we see God at work in that 40 years? Do we see a
Mm-hmm.
preparation happening in that 40 years? Do we see them learning to trust God? Do we see God writing a story that would bring hope for us today in the way that he delivered them? Like
Yeah.
all of that, like you read through the Bible and it's telling the story of the Israelites. Like we see in hindsight, we can see the richness of it. I would imagine when they were out there, and well, we know, I don't have to imagine, they complained all the
Right.
time. The waiting was hard.
Yeah.
That season of in between was hard. And, we
Yeah.
see that over and over again. I mean, we did the Moses example too, but, 40 years being raised in the home of the very man who was trying to destroy him, all the Hebrew babies, and then 40 years in the desert of preparation, of tending to sheep, right? In
Mm-hmm.
Midian, tending sheep, which was training for the 40 years of leading the Israelites out.
The
And like you
sheep.
just see the sheep again, tending the sheep again.
The
Um
human sheep.
you right?
Mm.
All of it matters.
Yeah.
It all points to purpose. So
Today
today
matters.
matters.
Today
Amen,
matters and
sister.
you matter.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know that we hear that enough or that we believe it
Hmm.
enough. That your life is so
Yeah.
significant, that you matter, that God has one of my favorite verses. I don't even know how this came about, but it's just become one of my absolute favorites. It's that all the days planned for you were written in God's book before even one of them came to be. It says to me that there's a book in heaven. My name is on it. This date is on it. And God ordained good acts are written down under my name, under this day. If we just keep our eyes fixed on Him, He's like, they're all teed up. You know what I mean? You don't have to even
Yep.
like go trying to figure it out, It's just take Him by the hand and walk through this day, and they're going to show up in front of us, and we get to participate with the God of the universe in God things today.
Today matters. Today matters. And as you live as though today matters, remember that we serve a real God and he really loves you.